Welcome back, folks. MTG Joe here. Today, we're going to be doing a variation of the weekly meta breakdown where we look at the top performing decks on the MTG Arena ladder. This video is going to be focused on standard best of one. Normally, we would just cover the top win rate decks for the format for the last week, usually in Mythic Rank. This week, I'm going to do it a little bit different. I'm going to be focusing on 5 decks, more rogue decks, that folks are playing in the best of one format that have relative high win rates, either for the individual or kind of cumulative stats that are outside of kind of the stock list. So like the video, if I were to just do the stock list today, it's literally going to be mono red prowess, mono white, convoke, an Azorius control, and then like the Dimir control deck. So pretty much the decks that we've covered for the last few weeks. It does get kind of repetitive to talk about the same, oh, look at this convoke deck that's playing one different card each week. So it's been a little stale, so I thought we'd bring something a little fresh, maybe give you something a little bit spicy to take to the ladder and see how it plays out. So we're still going to leverage Untap, what you see on the screen, companion tool that runs alongside Arena's client. We got 4 of the lists from there, 1 we got from MTG Decks, and we got a couple that are community lists, so it'll feature that as well. We also did, if you missed it, something a little bit different this week. In addition to the normal gameplay and meta video, I actually did kind of a breakdown in terms of how much I make as a YouTube content creator. So kind of break down how YouTube pays like a Magic content creator, how views, how different types of content, whether it be short form like these meta videos, long form as in like hour-long gameplay, or YouTube shorts kind of vary in terms of pay. Kind of the trends and stuff like that. So there's a video like that if you're ever interested in kind of like that, seeing behind the curtains, if you would, in terms of how we get paid. Check it out. I'm welcoming some feedback. I'm a big advocate of pay transparency. I also get a lot of questions, folks who want to like start either like a YouTube journey, a Twitch journey, like streaming in various capacities. So I wanted to have a resource out there for people to see what's kind of available. But in any case, we're going to jump in. Like I said, if we look at the meta for the week, mono red, convoke, mono white humans, mono red, Azorius, mono black aggro, Golgari midrange, mono black skeletons, but not doing that too well. The 2 mono black decks. Pretty much the meta we've had for the last few weeks. If we're doing a quick scan in terms of like the top mythic decks for like players this week, domain, Dimir control, convoke, mono red, Dimir control, domain, mono red. Like we have a mono black here that kind of snuck through. So we'll cover a couple of these decks and see what's up. I'll paste and timestamp all these decks so you can just copy them as well. So the first deck is Orzhov Control. So over the last month or so, Mythic Rank, this deck has offered a 64% win rate. It's a Planeswalker Orzhov deck that's built somewhat to address the best of one meta. Sometimes folks build their decks too much with best of 3 in mind. And best of one, as we can see, it's a lot of linear decks. So just how best to combat that. You're using a lot of cheap removal. March of the Otherworldly Light. You have Get Lost. You have Go for the Throat. You have Sunset Revelry, which can gain you life, give you tokens, get you some card draws. You even see cut downs in here. You have Temporary Lockdown for the aggressive decks. And then Bandit's Hall is an interesting one over Celestis. I still think I prefer Celestis. The bonus of this is it's non-legendary. Celestis does let you loot and gain some life. This, you have a lot of ways to commit crimes, so then that gives you a way to get some card advantage. So Celestis is more card selection. This is more card advantage. In all honesty, I'd probably play one of each. Gotta call it a day like that. Then you have a swath of planeswalkers. That's today's word, swath. Liliana of the Veil. Come down, kill something, discard your opponent's hand. Sorin, card advantage. And then lifelink tokens. Wandering Emperor, removal tokens, win con. You have Ashiok making tokens and beat card advantage. Number Sweeper, Sunfall, Farewell on the top end, and then Eternal Wander and Kaya. And then just like utility lands, you have your Surveil lands, you have your Restless Fortress in here as creature land, Myrex as a win condition, and some fields as well. Moving on, we go to Naya Discover, 57% over that same span at Mythic Rank, 180 games. So with this deck, pretty unique, and Mojo Rogue from Twitch was one of the first to kind of assemble this deck. Basically, what you're trying to do is get your fight rigging, and then you can just start discovering and going crazy. So you discover into like fight rigging, you put counters, so Hammer Skull gets a 7 power, then you could cast the thing for free. You could Trumpeting Carnosaur, potentially find another rigging. You have Geological Appraisers, which can either find you fight riggings, or like Lockdowns as removal, Hammer Skulls. Angel Fire could give whatever big thing you get haste. You get double ETBs with Elish Norn. Quintarius gets you value there. Vitali. So you're basically just trying to like free cast a bunch of stuff. You also have Vitali that can do like push pull if things are in the graveyard. A lot of ways to gain life in the deck between Lightning Helix, the Angel Fire attack, Quintarius, all kind of mixed into there. So you have ways to kind of just win the turn depending on how good your hit gets, especially with like you could double discover off like Trumpeting Carnosaur Elish Norn with like an Angel Fire as your hit, give the thing haste and a whole bunch of stats. Moving on, we go to Azorius Artifacts. So this has had varied levels of success. This one's not going to win you like top #1 Mythic, but still winning more games than it's losing. The one thing I would say with this, if you don't have all these cards, some of them are fairly niche. You're going to be using Mythics for stuff like Assimilation Aegis. That's probably not going to see more than a 1 of in some decks. The Simulacrum Synthesizer probably gets better in Eternal formats. We're getting a lot of like the Frogmite style affinity cards in Modern Horizon, but if you're strictly Standard, kind of heed that these big score cards are a pain to collect. So just I like to preface with that one. This one's not as high of a win rate as some of the other ones, and like these cards are very niche in terms of the deck that it plays. But what it's trying to do is reward you for playing bigger artifacts, 3 CMC or less, and you get what their aforementioned Constructs, where the power and toughness of said creature token is equal to the number of artifacts you control. Kind of named after the Karn Planeswalker that makes said tokens. You got Ursa in here that you can then flip with Mightstone Meekstone. You have Thousand Moon Smithy, another way to make these tokens. And then just kind of control elements, March Otherworldly Light, 3 Steps Ahead, Springload Sawblades is removal. That's also an artifact. Clayfire Bricks is a way to kind of get some card advantage in there as well. Fulmari Vault to kind of find your pieces. Then this one here, I know what you're going to say, but Joe, Dimir is everywhere in Standard. Well, it's more in best of 3. You don't see it too much in best of 1. And this particular best of 1 list is killing it right now by Mythicus 93 and 29 up to Mythic Rank. So pretty solid run across. Basically, they started in silver and they just kind of went up there. This deck here, if we pull it up, it's kind of your traditional Dimir mid. We have the flash package, which is really nice. So a lot of just impactful like flash threats. Fairy Mastermind, go for the throats, make disappear. You have Tiny Bones that can cast stuff out of your opponent's graveyard. With the cheap flyers between Spyglass Siren, Deep Cavern Bat, and Fairy Mastermind, you can draw a bunch of cards with Gix. Creature is a good value card, so you have a lot of cheap interaction, kind of ways to accrue card advantage. And then Sheoldred, Alcazat's top end, good creature lands in Restless Reef, and then Myrex to make some tokens. So there's that list there. Fairly high win rate, 76% over more than 100 games from this individual. Then last one, this is from Hamhawks42, Jankmaster. They went 37 and 18 with this one, so pretty solid overall. So this is a Gruul Ramp Smuggler's Surprise list. So with Smuggler's Surprise, you cast it for Spree. It's kind of a mini Tooth and Nail, if you would. So you get to, for 3 mana, you get to mill 4 cards. You can put up 2 creature cards or lands from among those milled cards into your hand. And then for 8 mana, 8, you can mill and do that. Or for 6 mana, you can just do the middle ability, which is generally the one you're going to be looking for. And you get to put 2 creature cards from your hand onto the battlefield. So what you're trying to do is just cheat out a whole bunch of stuff. So ideally, Terror of the Peaks. You can put a Galta into play and then dump a bunch of cards. With Terror of the Peaks, you get to just kind of machine gun down your opponent. There's Tyrannix Rex in here. You got Vaultborn Hydras, Spinewood Armadillos that can also be used as early ramp. Topiary Stomper helps you ramp up as well. Charming Scoundrel helps you ramp. Archdruid Charm helps you find some lands, can be used as a fight effect. Glimpse of Core. So you got a bunch of early ramp into big chunky kind of top ends. So Glimpse of Core, Invasion of Zendikar kind of mixed into there. You have, most of these are dinosaurs. So you can actually also incidentally just name them with Cavern to protect your stuff that way there. You could also, if you want, in lieu of some of these cards, like You have the Tyrannix Rex. It's a little pricey outside of the norm. What you can do is just even play something like Trumpeting Carnosaur or Itali in that place. Gives you some more free cast value. I would honestly try it with that. I love Cascade, so I'm going to be a little bit biased. But this one's a pretty sweet one. There's someone doing well in one of the European RCs. They were like X1 into day 2 of a very large RC with a similar concept deck, which was pretty sweet, all things considered. So that's it for the week. Got you 5 spicy ones. Let me know if you try out any of these, how they play out for you. If you have any other cool decks that are doing really well, drop a link in the comments, and we'll catch you next time. Thanks for watching, everyone. Hope you have a great one.